Talking Paranormal.
Today I'm joined by Shane Verf of Ravens Paranormal. Hiya, Shane.
Hi, Chris.
Right, we first met when you got in touch to cover one of our videos and do a review of what you thought. And it was fun. I was so overjoyed that somebody took an interest, but then so gutted when I was like, no, you've chosen the worst one. And that video I've since removed from YouTube. It's like, we're not having that happen again. I don't like that video. So
It's still on my YouTube, but
yeah.
it wasn't a bad video in my eyes if it comes to the investigation, because it was a very good investigation, of course. But yeah, the footage of a couple of those things, it was awful. I was like, oh no, you should not do that.
Well, the point is, it was the start of a new wave of filming things, and then my camera hadn't turned up, and I used my old one, and it just, I forgot what happened. It just died and went terrible. So yeah, thanks for trying. And then you went on to review something I was happy about. So thank you for that.
Exactly. Yeah, no problem. Oh, you're welcome. I'm planning to do that more often.
So your channel, tell us what it's about.
It originally started with me doing a lot of investigations, and I started Ravens Paranormal with my wife. We did a lot of investigations for what I can see on my channel. We did even more, but I do have a lot of home investigations, which I do not post on Facebook or any social media because of the privacy of people. In the Netherlands, it's a very much a taboo as it comes to the paranormal.
Really?
In the Netherlands, it's just like it's a different world as to the UK, America, whatever other country. I always say the Netherlands sucks if it comes to the paranormal.
Wow.
We cannot go investigate buildings, which are from the government, of course. If we ask for permission, we never get the permission. Or we have to pay a lot of money for it, so a lot of euros. I'm not going to do that. I'm a non-profit organization, as in team, and I'm not going to pay hundreds of euros to get somewhere for a couple hours. I'm just not going to do that.
So, what is the basis? Is it? I forgive my ignorance. Is that controlling government, or is it religious? Or
I think it's kind of the both, because we have a lot of religions in here, and they are very strict to that. A lot of them really do not believe in paranormal and don't want to believe in the paranormal, or they do believe and they're scared of it. That's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't ask. But, and the government just doesn't want to do it. They want to rebuild the buildings, make apartments out of them, tear them down, whatever it is, but they will not let you go in.
Right. So, yeah, you do what you can.
Yeah.
Over there. And then I've seen your investigation videos, but then more recently, you're doing your review videos. Tell us about that.
Started 8 months ago, I think it is. I've been looking at a couple of reviewers, big ones currently. There's one of them is Casper Side, Ben from the UK. He does a lot of reviews, and I actually liked doing them. I always have comments on people reviewing videos. For instance, when they see a paranormal video and they're like, "Oh, that's completely real," and I can see that's, and then I'm sitting at home, I'm like, "That's not real. That's something. There's a thread somewhere. I see a cut in the video or something like that," and then I'm like, "I can do that myself. I can try that." So I tried it 8 months ago. I actually like doing it. So I'm not intent to stop that. Neither I'm going to stop the investigations, of course. But the reviewing, I love doing that.
Now, I watch your reviews, and it gets me to see all evidence that I wouldn't have seen in one place. I mean, so, I don't need to go searching because I just go to your channel and listen to you. Now, as you're watching it, I start commenting sometimes halfway through the video, and then you go on to give the same thing I've said to you. You're like, I know that wasn't shadow or whatever. You'll say the exact same thing, and that's really good for me.
Yeah, you're pointing to the one this afternoon with the swing.
Yeah.
I could clearly see that the camera moves at the same way that the shadow moves, so it has to do something with the area.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a shadow as in paranormal.
But all those videos, they all say the most terrifying thing ever, and then they all say you can clearly see, and I'm like, I don't buy either of those phrases. Yeah.
No, I have the same thing, and well, it's something that annoys me in one, and I'm happy with it second, but it's clickbait.
Yeah.
People, you have to put something on the title, and it has to be catchy for people to look at it.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, I'm not going to do that. I don't like doing that. I just want people to watch my videos. But I noticed lately, especially with the Christmas jump scare episode, I have 284 watchers right now, and before that, I had maybe 50 if I was lucky.
Yeah.
And that was without the clickbait and the thumbnails. And a couple of months ago, I discovered the thumbnails. I love those things. They're fun to do.
You say clickbait, but it's only clickbait if you sell something that you don't deliver upon. Whereas at least you're not clickbait if you're saying this is what I give you and you do give them that.
Yeah, true. Well, in that regard, it is true. But I do see a lot of paranormal groups as to reviewers that do have clickbait, and they tell you that they've caught a demon on camera, and you watch the episode, and you're like, "Where's the demon at?"
Yeah.
I haven't seen any demon. I haven't seen any ghosts. So what are you talking about? And I get disappointed, and then I get disappointed in the team as well. Then like, I'm not going to watch you anymore. I don't want to watch you anymore.
Yeah. I know you were watching one the other day, or at least when I was watching it this afternoon, and you were saying all these are fake, and I know they were all fake, but you still were having a great time. You were loving it still, enjoying yourself.
Definitely. Especially when I know most of them or the videos in that video are completely fake. I do love telling people that have a look at how easy you can fake a video. And people that are not in the paranormal area or as a paranormal investigation person doing that, you can fall for that trick. It's easy. You can like the last one I made, I think, was with the spoon falling from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Smug puppy is it called. It's easy to make. There's a couple of investigators on TikTok that had debunked it already. It's with a camera light. You put it up top of your body, and then you drop the spoons from another area, and the light is still on top of you. So it's like the portal opens and the spoons fall out. I don't know exactly how they did that, but it was clear to see that you can fake that so easy.
Yeah.
That's why I still love reviewing a fake video because it's an educational one as well as it's fun for me to do. Because I can just say, look, guys, this is fake. If you believe it, it's fine by me. But I know this is fake, and I can tell you and back up why it's fake. And if you still believe that it's real, then that's your cup of tea. That's not mine.
Yeah, you don't shove it down their throats.
Yeah, and it's the same as I have the Chills video. I think it is. He had well, I watched 45 minutes, so I'm not gonna throw that out because it's 45 minutes of my time reviewing something. I was disappointed in the fact that Chills had a bad video because I didn't like the video at all. But I just told him I don't like this video. He has better, even though his voice is annoying as hell. But he has good videos on there. And now I picked, like I did with yours, I picked the worst video that I could find, reviewed it, and I was like, damn, that's 45 minutes lost.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna post it because I made it. I have my review in there, and that's my opinion.
Yeah. So your schedule, is it like you just record once a week, or how do you work?
I try to do it once a week, but I do have two children that are very young, and they tend to get out of bed every night because they want to go to sleep. So I usually have 2 days that I take my videos, record my videos of the reviews, and then once every 2 weeks I go on a paranormal investigation.
So tell me about that. How did you start your team?
I started my team in 2016. I've been busy with the paranormal for, well, I think 18, 19 years, maybe more.
Hmm.
And I started it with my now wife. Back then, she was just a friend of mine. We were both doing a lot of paranormal research and in other teams, and then we decided to make our own team because there's a lot of paranormal teams here that have work schedules that I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. One example is when you finally have some evidence or shit starts to happen.
Yeah.
You're not gonna leave. You're gonna ask. You want to ask the questions. Why are you doing this? What are you doing here? That kind of. No, that team was like, oh shit's gonna happen. We're gonna home.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, what am I doing here then?
Yeah. Exactly.
But that was the moment for me that I'm like, no, I'm gonna start my own team. I'm gonna just do it my way. And we're now a team of 4 regular members and 3 students that are turning into paranormal investigators. So yeah, it's actually going very well. Actually, like the team right now.
So you go around your local area, or do you travel at all? I suppose you got kids, you can't go that far.
We try to go to at least Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands, of course.
Yeah.
But we're planning to go to England, Ireland, Scotland, a little further away, but still close by.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's excellent. Yeah. So tell me about a typical investigation. Tell me about what you do first and what the night involves.
Most of the times when we get there, we start feeling around. Like, what is our feeling? Is it heavy? Is it light? It's daytime still, so we can still see a lot of things. Um, take the area in, and then we are planning still to do an intro, but we keep forgetting it because of the excitement we have. So actually, we start the investigation at night. So during the day, we're still feeling, talking about it, what we're gonna do, planning around, and then we grab a bite to eat and go back to the same place. We tend to start when things are getting dark. Because here in the Netherlands, when it starts to get dark, people are going inside. So I have contamination from the outside.
Yeah.
Most of the times it's bunkers here from the Second World War.
Wow.
So yeah, we plan to do go there again during the 28th of January.
All right.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to Atlantical bunkers,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a contact in New Zealand. It's in the Netherlands, and yeah, he knows a lot of bunkers you can go to, and he works for the community in New Zealand, so he gives me permission to do anything.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he has his own radio studio, and there's a lot of ghosts there. So if it's going to rain outside, he's going to take me inside. So I have a lot of places to go on the 28th.
That's great.
Yeah.
No mediums?
No. I have my wife is a witch in the 3rd degree, so she's a high priestess.
Yeah.
She does tend to have a lot of visuals, get messages from the other side, but she doesn't call herself a medium. And I do have to admit that it's not that I don't like mediums, but I still haven't found one that I'm like,
Yeah.
I can blindly trust you with everything you say. So as soon as I find one, I will tell you. But for now, I trust my wife with all the things she says. But I cannot. If I call her a medium, she's gonna kick my ass. So she's smaller than me, but I'm scared of her.
So what about equipment then? Yeah, you don't do Ouija board. Do you do dictaphones to record EVPs and stuff?
Yeah, I do have my dictaphones. I have a spirit box. I have, well, of course, the usual cameras. We do use a couple of apps which I think are legit. I do not blindly believe those apps because it's still computer animated, so
yeah,
it's not all legit. But if it answers questions and gives me the answers I'm asking for, then I can say that this is a legit answer, and I do not think it's yabby yet. Also, I do have to. What I always do what I do for a Ouija board, I also do with the apps. Do not blindly trust those things
Yeah.
because sometimes it's just spitting words, and then you're like, oh, well, maybe it's about that, or maybe it's
Yeah.
just like the necrophonic. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. It's a creepy app.
Yeah.
And if you're a newbie in the paranormal and you go listen to that app, you're not going to do that ever again.
You're absolutely right.
That thing makes weird sounds.
Yeah.
It gets the tension up. Well, it's actually cool if you're a attention seeker, but if you're new and you use the necrophonic, you're not going to use that one again, probably.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. We
Yeah.
have had good experiences with it, but
Mhm.
it is completely ridiculously ghost train over the top, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
You know,
I do think it works. I do believe it works. I've seen it in your investigation, if I'm correct, with the Estes method, only with the necrophonic.
yeah.
So you get legit answers, and it's I don't have trouble with the app itself, but I have trouble with the fact that if you're a newbie and you try that app because everybody else uses it in the paranormal field, you're probably not going to do it again. And the thing that I wanted to do with my team is get the taboo of it and try to learn people what not to do and what to do in the paranormal field.
Yeah.
And when you start as a newbie, start using especially the necrophonic. You're not going to do the paranormal field ever again, probably, because you're too scared to do anything because of the
Yeah.
sounds that the thing makes.
So can you give me a sense of some of your investigation evidence? You know, what tends to, do you see things, hear things?
I do have to say, lately I've been seeing more, so there's more visuals for me. But the best evidence for me that we caught was the figure that went through our laser grid.
All right.
We were at the Stonehenges
Wow. Okay.
here in the Netherlands. Those are very small, but my wife was like, tonight I'm going to try something. I'm going to try some kind of ritual and walk around it and see what happens. And I was like, well, you do whatever you want to do,
Yeah.
whatever works for you. I had no idea what she was going to do.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden she said, I'm going to walk around now because he's walking in front of me and he likes the lights. He likes the lasers. So I said, who's he? She says, you'll see. I was like, yeah, right. I'm not going to see anything.
Hmm.
And then she was held by the hand, actually pulled forwards. And all of a sudden I was like, did I see something? Well, it's probably my eyes playing tricks on me or something. And then back then we had another teammate. She was looking through the evidence and she just saw two figures go through the grid. One was the figure itself, and the other one was my wife following it.
That's great.
There was no light source from flashlights because we actually don't use flashlights because I forbid those because of the shadow forms you can make while someone clicks on the light you didn't notice, and then there's a shadow there, and you're like, where did that come from? And the other one is shut. He doesn't remember or whatever. So I tried to not use flashlights whatsoever. My cameras were completely drained, so there was no night shot. So that's not a shadow causer itself, and the only shadow causer was the laser grid,
Yeah.
which you walk through, and you see a tall figure walk through, and then you see a small figure following it. It's
God,
pretty small, so that was awesome.
that is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is there any equipment that you're after that you would love if money was no object?
If money was no object, I would still probably want EM pump and the SLS cam, but a steady one.
So, SLS, I'm always a bit dubious of those stick
I know.
mount things.
I have the same problem because it maps a lot of things. But I did find something with that. If you make it a steady one, put it on a tripod, put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Make sure it maps nothing whatsoever. Leave it there for a couple of minutes. Still doesn't map anything. You can clearly say that there's something on there as soon as it maps something after that.
Yeah.
Because if you walk around with that thing, it's gonna map everything.
Mm.
You see a chair, that thing's gonna map the chair. You see a table, it's gonna map the table. It's gonna map a curtain, whatever it is. So I'm very careful with those, definitely. But I would like some.
Yeah.
And a flare, of course, but that's way, way too expensive for me.
A what?
Flare.
What's that?
Warmth, heat, temperature camera.
Oh yes, right. I get you. Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know if spirits necessarily give off a temperature, but I've seen in TV programs that, you know, possible handprints of heat on the wall and stuff, but spirits just work in a way that we don't seem to understand anyway, so anything's possible, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if I can believe the fact that they said of heat, but cold, definitely, yeah.
Mm.
For me, it is when there's a cold flash
Yeah.
or a cold breeze or whatever, and there's nothing like wind or other natural sources. For me, that indicates a spirit. So if I have a thermal imaging cam, now I got it, a thermal imaging cam, it will tend to see something colder than our body heats. It will not set off a warm set of handprints. In my book, that is, because I've never seen that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's cool. You got to try these things, haven't you?
Yeah, I really want to try those.
When you're watching your videos, you have the same idea as me. When people are going out alone, taking all their equipment into bunkers, like you say, it's just so dangerous. It's like, do you not realise what you're doing? And even you're shouting at the screen.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's if I'm not reviewing and I see a video like that, I'm screaming at my screen too. And then my wife's like, he's not going to hear you, right? I know, but still, I have to say it. I can't do anything else. I have my team members. One of them lives a long way from me. He doesn't have a car. He doesn't have a driver license. So it's very hard for him to come over me to my place and then we go into an investigation. Plus the fact that I can't drive there all the time to pick him up and then go to the investigation if it's not close by him. He does have a very good friend, a couple of very good friends that he goes on paranormal investigations with. I trust him completely to say you can do that. That's no problem.
Yeah.
But always take someone with you so they know where you are. In my old team, where I was back before I started my own one, there were a couple of people that were like in big buildings, just walk off, wander off.
Yeah.
Way. I hate it when they start doing that. I actually screened that one and like, if you ever flip and do that again, and I'm saying it very nicely now, I will kick you off the team. You will not be in this team anymore. And they called me an assistant leader, whatever they had names for that. But I was like, if you do that again, I'm gonna kick you off the team. You're not gonna stay on that team because if something happens to you, I don't know where you are.
Yeah.
And they're gonna call us responsible for the fact that you fell somewhere or you broke your leg somewhere.
Yeah.
It's gonna be us to blame, which is not, but that's the way people are.
Yes. Yeah, it's very dangerous in the dark, isn't it? Or
Definitely. You never know what the floor's gonna do or the ceiling or whatever. And if you're alone without anybody else to investigate with you, Urbex Hill has that encounter. My wife saw that. He got slapped in the face. He's been out for 10 minutes. Nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
In other words, if you get slapped and you get hit in the wrong way, or you fall or something like a break or one, you might die.
Yeah, you're out and no one knows you're there. Yeah.
Exactly. Or drug dealers in big buildings.
Yeah.
They tend to have knives. If you're in their building, they're not going to ask you nice to leave.
Yeah.
Go put a knife somewhere you don't want to have it.
Yeah. So you mentioned on your video that you'd been slapped by a ghost. I think. Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Was my own fault too. Well, like in the Netherlands, there was a lot of World War II history. The place where I lived back then, there was a higher place where you can walk on, and they ride their bikes there. But there were a lot of soldiers that were marching down there. So I was pretending to be a Jew.
Hmm.
I was like, "You're an asshole." I was just starting the paranormal, so I'm not going to do that again because I learned my lesson. Definitely. All of a sudden, I kept taunting and provoking, and all of a sudden, I felt this, like the
Yeah.
one with the smug puppy. Only it was like I didn't fall, and there was nothing flying from my hands, but it hurts like hell. And all of a sudden, my friends told me, "Your face is completely red,"
Mm.
and it started to swell a little. And I was like, "How did that happen?" And then I
Yeah.
started thinking that I felt something on my face. So what I think that was my point of view was like a soldier was like, well, if I can't take you now, I'm gonna hit you like that,
Yeah.
and it
That's all.
hurt. It hurt for like 2 3 days. It's been
Yeah.
to black and blue to all kinds of colors. I was like, I never bumped into anything, so that's the only explanation I have.
Was that quite terrifying?
No, not terrifying to me. Yeah,
Mm.
not easily terrified. I get jump scared very, very easily. That's not a problem for me. But
Yeah.
run away or be terrified, no. I never had that. It was weird though, I have to admit.
Mm.
And that was
So
my first real encounter with a spirit, which I didn't see and did feel.
yeah, that's a good one. What about UFOs? Are you interested in that, or just ghosts?
Mm, I believe that there's more. I believe that I've one saw it, but I was a kid, so I don't know if I can believe my own eyes.
Yeah.
Could have been in a helicopter and I was seeing that for something else. I don't know, but it had a lot of lights and it went this way. I've never seen a helicopter do that, and
Yeah.
within flash of an eye, it was gone.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I believe that there's more, but if it's aliens, I do not know.
Hmm.
Was unidentified, definitely.
Yeah.
So I believe in unidentified flying objects, but I don't know if I believe in aliens. The way they draw them in pictures and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Your channel seems all like ghostly based, really.
Yeah.
But are you interested in knowing like cryptids, other weird animal, Bigfoot and all that? Do you have an interest at all, or?
No, maybe the creature-like things. Then the ones they tend to see in sewers nowadays, flying by, flashing by, and looking at you like, "What the hell are you?"
Yeah.
But Bigfoot, no, I don't know. I don't know if I can believe those videos either. Most of them are very nicely filmed, but then I can make the features like it's maybe a hunter in a
Hmm.
suit, or the other pictures are very badly filmed, zoomed completely in, and then moving like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't see anything. It's a
Yeah.
picture, something there, but what it is, I can't say.
Yeah. So what have you got planned for your paranormal team?
Sorry, again?
What have you got planned for your paranormal team like this year?
Well, I've planned to do a lot more investigation and tend to put those on my YouTube channel again.
Yeah.
Start a whole new season, a fresh start. It's been hanging a little because of my kids were very small and they tend to get a bit bigger now. So yeah, I've been telling my team like, well, we're gonna do a new start, we're gonna fresh start, and we're gonna I don't know do a lot of ghost hunting in this upcoming year.
Hmm. And they're all going to go on your channel, or just some, or?
Um, I don't know. Some of them are looking at it, but not all of them.
Yeah. And so for your channel, is it just carry on going as you're going, or have you got any thoughts about, introducing new elements?
Um, well, I thought my reviews were a pretty new element, but yeah, I don't know yet. Maybe that my wife was planning on maybe doing a podcast, or
Oh,
she
yeah.
wanted to do that audio only,
Hmm.
and she's planning on doing that in Dutch because we know, like I said, we want to take the taboo off of it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, well, run in Dutch, she's going to probably do it in English. But her English is Oxford English, like UK. Mine is American English, so it's going to be very weird talking in a podcast together.
Yeah.
But yeah, that may be on my channel, but depends on what she wants to do.
So I tried to watch your video where it seemed to be like a documentary. It was called Ravens Documentary.
Yeah,
I love that sort of thing, but it was in Dutch, and I was like, I'll put the subtitles on, and they were in Dutch. I was like, I can't enjoy this. I don't understand it.
maybe maybe I can change that in the future for making English subs or something. I have to check that out. But it's about what we do in our daily lives, and it's been filmed by a couple of students that were doing their exams, and they wanted to do something different, and they were all skeptics, completely skeptics. We went to the bunkers, Second World War bunkers, only closer by my house, and yeah, they were completely skeptic. But during the whole night, things started happening, like cameras malfunctioning, microphones that didn't want to work anymore. The one with the skeptic eye was like, yeah, well, maybe the batteries are empty. He started to make all kinds of excuses, and then we debunked all the excuses. And he was like, yeah, well, then somebody touched the button. And we were like, you're the one holding the camera. How are we supposed to touch a button?
Yeah.
And you didn't touch the button. And then he was like, oh, crap. I did not touch the button. Then he started believing. And then my colleague Hunter fell down. And he is the most shy ever. He didn't want to be in frame from the moment it started. But yeah, if you're in paranormal investigator doing these kind of things, you're going to be in frame one way or another. And then an American soldier started talking to him, but he is a German. He's from Germany originally. And the American soldier made him feel what he felt in the last moments of his life, which was probably being shot through the belly into his back. And his legs collapsed completely. Right. So he fell on the floor almost in a hole, and he was completely out of it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that was actually amazing footage too, but I still think my figure was more amazing.
Yeah. So, have you had any experiences when you were a child? Growing up?
Yeah, I did. I in the old house where I lived with my parents, my brothers, I saw cat eyes in the hallway, and we did not own cats. We had 2 dogs, and there was no way, shape, or form that the cat could come inside because my dogs didn't like cats. They would have killed it, definitely. I have still no idea what it was, except for the fact of a pair of glowing cat eyes. I did not see a cat. I just saw the eyes.
Oh.
So that's good to me. Yeah. And it was light enough to see if there was a cat.
Yeah. But you've had no humanly ghostly stuff as a kid?
My grandpa, great grandpa, he sat on the bed next to me and was looking at me like, hello. That was actually very terrifying.
Yeah.
As a child. It did make me get more curious about paranormal and what it was and why I saw that kind of thing. By now I know it's my guide. So he guides me through my life. But back then I was like, what the hell are you? And who the hell are you? And then I saw a picture of him and I was like, that's the man that sat on my bed.
That's the classic.
Yeah. And then my mom was like, yeah, that's a great grandpa. And I was like, no, he's not. I don't know who this man is.
Yeah.
He died when I was just 1 year old, so I never knew him. I didn't even know he existed.
So you think he looks after you now when you're hunting?
Yeah, he does. Definitely does.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what do you know about the afterlife? What's your view of what goes on after? Once we pass out of here.
It depends on if you still have some unfinished business here. If you still have some messages or something happened that was too quick for you to die, I think you stay here for a while and then try to communicate through with the people that do the paranormal investigations.
Yeah. So you think they're lost in a way? They've lost way.
In some kind of way, yeah, they are. Definitely.
Yeah. And do you believe in demons, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I actually do.
Are you religious?
I'm not religious, not in that kind of regards.
So,
I am a pagan kind of person.
so what's your thoughts?
I do believe that there's demons because of the fact that we tend to do exorcisms when necessary.
Hmm.
Because my wife is a high priestess, so she may do the exorcism.
Wow,
Uh,
really?
yeah, and I've been to one exorcism that was from a good friend of ours, and he came off of a couch 1 meters high without touching
You
anything.
saw that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's life
Did-
changing.
We didn't get it on camera because the camera was like, nah, I'm not gonna tape this.
Yeah, but if you saw it and I know how skeptical you are, and if you
Yeah.
saw that yourself, then I'm sold on that.
Yeah, I can dismiss anything I saw in that regard because I was an adult. I wasn't a child anymore. I
Hmm.
was completely sober or whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
I was skeptic at the moment it started. I was like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
And
So how did
then
that happen? How did it come about? How did they get that and then get rid of it?
he was having that demon for at least 10 years of his
Right.
life, and all things in his life started going wrong. His relationships started to get broken. He couldn't get any woman to talk to him anymore. Uh, at the end of it, we knew that there was a succubus hanging on him.
Mm-hmm.
That's a female snake that tends to grabs herself onto man. And it was on him for like 10 years, and he called us for help because he went to doctors, he went to psychiatrists, he had some homeopathic therapies. He did everything he could to get rid of it, to make himself him again, and nothing worked. And then my wife was like, well, I think you have a demon attached to you. And he was like, yeah, right, demon my ass. He didn't believe anything.
Hmm.
And then she started talking about it. Like, she didn't know what his problems were and what the fine things of the problems were. She started talking about it like, yeah, well, yeah, this is your problem. You got this, you got that. And then he was like, huh?
Hmm.
His mouth went open and he was like, well, I think you're the only person that can help me. So my wife's like, well, of course, I will try. That's not a problem. And we started around, now I have to think, I think it was 8 o'clock in the evening. And we finished 4 o'clock in the morning. And then he was completely cleansed. And he's never been bothered again since then. He is him again, and he's living his life to the fullest.
So what would be the first part of call if somebody thinks they've got like a problem like that? What is there something you can do in the very instant? Do you find out?
I find out by going towards those people, and well, in my case, I start my investigation by just doing a regular paranormal investigation, and I want to see and meet the people that have that kind of trouble to see if it's real, if they really feel the things they feel, because we have been um, having a case that was like, yeah, well, there's demons in here and they're trying to get me and drag me to hell and that kind of. And then we were like, okay, well, we want to help, so we'll come over and do our investigation. And then we heard when we were there, he was taking this kind of medication, that kind of medication, all hallucinants.
Yeah.
Then we're like, you do have some spirits here. We want to take care of that. That's not a problem. But there's definitely no demons here.
Yeah.
And then she didn't want to believe us, and she started to get angry. And then she called another team, which I'm friends with, and they started to investigate. And she literally kicked them.
Yeah.
She was fighting with them because they said, "Well, there's nothing here."
Hmm.
Team that was here before us did their job.
Yeah.
It's all cleansed. It's clean, to say the least. But she was disagreeing, and now I heard she's in a mental institution. So, yeah.
Now we had the opposite thing. We had a woman who was on medication. She'd been in a mental hospital against her will, and so we were kind of like, okay, there probably isn't anything here. But it was the
Yeah.
flip side. There actually was, just because she'd had issues, she wasn't mistaken. It was the opposite, you know.
True, definitely true. But we tend to look at it very closely before we say anything, even if you are on a medication. Because I'm a medic user myself for depressions, but I don't have the depressions. I just have the brain function that doesn't work to make me happy.
Yeah.
So I think that but it's been since I was 15.
All right.
I've gotten used to the medication. I know what it does.
Yeah.
If you just started, it's going to be a different story altogether. So if you're on a couple of medication, like for say 15, 20 years, I'm not going to judge you because your body is used to that medication. It's not going to do something new all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I always check before that. I always ask, have you ever been institutionalized? Have you been to psychiatrists? Have you been to doctors? If they say yes, I have. I've been there. They cannot find whatever's wrong with me. They just tell me I'm crazy. Then I'm going to start looking because doctors say they can't find anything. So there's physically and mentally nothing wrong with you. Well, maybe you're crazy according to the doctors, but other than that, there's nothing wrong with you. So they can't explain anything. Then I start to look at it, and most of the times my wife comes with me because she's a seer and feeler.
Yeah.
And then we discuss as a team what we feel and what our findings are. After that, we're going to start an investigation just to make sure. And it has nothing to do with the fact we don't believe you. No, I just want to see if I can record the things that my wife feels or hears.
Yeah.
And if I can record it, then I can show the people too, you're not crazy. This is what we found. This is what we have on audio or on video. And then you see that the air clear already, and then we're going to start seeing if we can take care of it and get rid of it and all that kind of things.
Yeah.
But we're not going to say you're crazy. That's not going to happen. But this woman, what I was talking about, that was institutionalized afterwards, she was telling a team member, which I'm very close friends with, MPRT, one of the biggest in the Netherlands, that she caught it as a fly and she was going to send it to him in a Tupperware.
Right.
Well, for my eyes, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You cannot send a ghost as a fly in a Tupperware. It's not going to happen.
No.
I've never seen that happen. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Do you do protection? Do you do crystals? Sorry. How do you do that?
Crystals.
Yeah. Okay.
Crystals. We do tend to make some incense. We make them ourselves, depending on what night it is. Since my wife's a witch, we have a lot of herbs.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of crystals. And if it's very badly, we will do some protective spells.
Right. Excellent.
If necessary. So, but I do tend not to protect myself too badly because I have the experience that if I do, I will not experience anything anymore.
Yeah, you don't need to be blocked off.
Exactly. I do want protection, but I don't want to get blocked off and don't see anything or experience anything anymore.
Yes. You know, with you doing your videos, I often think that when you're in that mindset, you almost open yourself up to paranormal. So when you're making your videos, do you feel the spirits coming towards you in any way?
Yeah, we do tend to have a couple of spirits in our house, which are not very active, but active enough for me to notice that they're there. One of them is a little child, a little girl, which I took from a forest, which was very, very much lost. And she is happy to stay here and she feels fine. She's playing with my girl. So it's fine by me. And we have the old inhabitant from this house. He tends to close the doors for my kids, especially when they were smaller. My daughter, when she was 1.5, 2 years old. My son tends not to close doors. And my daughter was walking around here down the stairs, and we have a stairs going up. but she was tending to climb before even walking. So this former resident closed the doors, so my daughter could not go through the stairs and walk up and falling down. So we have helper spirits here, as I call them.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and they're happy to stay as long as they're not getting very annoying.
Yeah.
I just want people to not be scared of the paranormal, because there's nothing you have to be scared about. It's something you can't see and probably don't understand. But if it's something you don't understand, it doesn't automatically mean it's something that is bad or negative.
Yeah. Why do you think a lot of people don't believe in it?
I think some of them just have too much community on their faces. Like they work, they eat, they sleep, and they go to work again. They do not have anything else they want in their lives that has nothing to do with making money and living their lives. Others are just very, very much scared of it.
Yes,
they do believe, but they tend not to want to believe in it because it's not there. And if I can't see it, it's not there.
Yeah. Well, Shane, it's been a pleasure to talk to you.
Same.
I thank you for coming on my channel, and I will continue to watch and comment on your videos.
I will continue to review, and I'm probably going to review a couple more of the White House investigation.
Thank you. Right. Been a pleasure, sir.
Pleasure's all mine.